Welcome, everyone. My name is Laura Waghorn, the Director of Training and Field Services here at EllieMD. And today we're joined by three incredible ladies, Cindy Crayder, Toni Freeney, and Jenn Nelson, aka Jenn Magic, who are all going to share their peptide journeys. So firstly, we have Cindy Crayder. She's an educator, fitness enthusiast, and passionate advocate for peptides. At 54, Cindy has spent over 3 decades as an elementary reading teacher while making health and wellness a priority. She and her husband start their mornings with workouts. Balancing strength training and cardio fitness is a true family affair. So since September, Cindy's been microdosing on a GLP-1 and later added NAD plus to her routine, leading to a 24-pound weight loss and a major boost in energy. She recently introduced glutathione and is now exploring sermorelin or the Wolverine stack. So her entire family has embraced peptides. Her husband is seeing results with NAD plus, and even their 20-year-old son has started using it. So Cindy, welcome.
Thank you so much. Thank you for having me.
We are over the moon to have you. So firstly, tell me a little bit about what led you to start using peptides and what results you've seen.
Sure thing. So like you said, I've always been, had a passion for fitness and health and wellness. And I'm 54, so I'm in that like post-menopause area. And I've always supplemented and drank my water, did the strength training, did the cardio all the time. I never missed days with my workouts. And over the last 2 years or so, it was extremely frustrating for me because somehow I was still doing all of the right things, but I wasn't getting the results that I wanted. And I didn't even feel like myself anymore. I'd look in the mirror and the face that looked back at me just didn't even look like my own. I mean, it just looked inflamed and puffy. And I had this menopause belly and my temper was short and just really just not me. And I had seen a friend of mine, actually Mr. Gary Simmons, posting on Facebook about these GLP-1s, which I'd never heard of. I didn't even know what a peptide was, but he shared some information. And then I kind of went down a little rabbit hole of my own. And I thought, well, you know what? I'm doing everything right. I had everything on that checklist. It's not moving the needle. I still feel lousy. So something's got to give. And why not try this? So I did. I started microdosing the tirzepatide. Also wanted to add in that I had gone to my primary care physician and she ran a panel of blood work. I think it was last April. And her comment to me was, wow, everything looks great. And I think you should probably start exercising and drinking some more water. And I looked at her, I said, are you really? Seriously? That is all I do every single day. That's all you have for me? So once I started microdosing tirzepatide, I coincidentally met a functional medicine PA and spoke to her, and she said, "Oh yeah, your primary care doctor ran just the basic test." She said, "But I will do a full panel." And it turns out I had tons of inflammation in my body and some other markers like hormonal things. And so she then suggested, was about 3 weeks into my tirzepatide, and she said, I think you need to add in the NAD. That's really going to help you with the inflammation, with the brain fog, with sleep. And I was like, okay, I'm all in. And I would say within the first month or so, I really started to feel like myself, like the puffiness in my face went down. I noticed I had more energy. My belly was starting to flatten out, and I didn't really change anything else with my workout routine. I was still doing the strength training, still drinking the water. I'm a vegetarian, so I always, prioritize my protein. I aim for 100 grams a day. That I was still doing. But finally, I was feeling like me and seeing some results from all of my hard work, which was just amazing to me. And like you said, my husband also, so when I started working with the functional medicine doctor, so did he. He had some cardiac concerns, and she also recommended that he start the NAD for those reasons. And what he wasn't expecting from that was that it really helped him with his mental clarity and thinking clearly, which has also helped me. I mean, I'm a teacher, like you said, and sometimes there's like 25 little voices all saying things at once to me. And I would walk down the hallway and teachers would say, "Oh, Cindy, can you do this, or that for me?" And my famous line was always, "Listen, send me an email. So when I get back to my classroom, I'll see it on the computer, because otherwise I'm going to forget between now and then." And like, I'm remembering things now. I don't forget. I'm actually like having things in my head and going through my checklist and getting them done. I can focus, and it's amazing to me. And like you said too, our son is 20 and he's a sophomore in college, and he, Scott had spoken to him about how much the NAD helped him with his focus. And he's like, "Well, I'm kind of having a hard time focusing in school. And I feel like I can't like get myself together." So he did start using the NAD last month, and it's made like a significant difference for him. He said he's able to complete assignments. He's remembering to clean his room and his car. I'm like, wow, please, when you come home, I hope that continues. And yeah, so then I also, I'm 9 weeks into my glutathione as well. And I think that really has, along with the NAD, like my skin has never looked better. So I know it's like an antioxidant, and it really helps with that. I've always had dry skin. I've always had like the eczema patches, and when I was younger, I would go to a dermatologist and they would have me sit under a sun lamp to try to make it better, and all the things, every cream and pill known to man, and nothing ever helped. And we had a really brutal winter here in Philly. It was cold and I was outside a lot between walking my dogs and being outside for school. And my skin is like, it looks glowy. People tell me all the time, and that's like never happened in my entire life. So that's pretty amazing too. So now that I'm almost on my glutathione, I think my next peptide is going to be the Wolverine stack, because I
Yeah, I
think,
was going to ask you about that.
yeah,
So
yeah,
you was umming and ahhing which to go for, the Summerellen or the Wolverine stack. So what
yeah.
made you lean towards the Wolverine?
So honestly, I messaged Dr. Wagner because I listen to him and I follow him, and I think he's so intelligent and has so much great information is shared on so many of our Zooms and our calls. So I said, "Here's what I'm doing so far. Here's what I want. Would you recommend the Summerellen or the Wolverine stack?" And he said the Wolverine stack. So that's what I'm going with. And
Okay,
Scott
and what
actually
are you
started
hoping to
that.
get? What are you hoping
What
to
am I
get from
hoping to
that?
get? I am hoping, so I, my inflammation is down, and I'm really increasing more. I feel stronger and I have more energy. So while I've always done strength training like 4 or 5 days a week, I'm lifting heavier now. So now I'd like to see more like muscle tone and definition. So that's kind of what I'm hoping for. Plus I have this shoulder impingement that, women over 40 always seem to get, and especially when you're 54. And the NAD has really helped that. It's really helped with the inflammation. I mean, I couldn't even lift my arm over my head for a long, long time. And I can now. I can lift a 20-pound weight up there. But it's still a little creaky. So I'm hoping that Wolverine's going to help that, so I can even like do a little more.
Yeah, fantastic. So for somebody who's on this call right now who doesn't really know what peptides are, they're a complete beginner. How would you explain peptides to somebody?
They're almost like little tiny like text messages, the kind of like that you send to your body. It's like, okay, this is not working, a little text. Okay, so let's get some mental clarity. Let's get rid of the brain fog. Let's help your digestion. So I feel like there are things that our bodies have produced naturally, right? But over time, and you get older, and they're either not producing them or they've slowed down. So you're kind of giving your body back what it needs, right? So that it can operate like at its, natural state, the way, or factory settings, I guess, the way that it should. That
Yeah,
makes
love it. Love it. Well, thank you so much, Cindy, for coming on and sharing your story. It's
Thanks again
amazing
for
how
having me.
the impact they've had on you and your husband and your son.
Yeah,
It's really great to hear.
I'm so grateful. I'm so grateful. Yes.
So next up, I'm going to bring on Toni Freeney. So Toni is a business owner, entrepreneur, She's an EllieMD advocate, and she's also the owner of Y&T Trucking. So Toni's always been a go-getter, but her health took a turn when she started experiencing severe anxiety, depression, uncontrollable weight gain. So before GLP-1, she struggled with unbearable hip pain and felt completely unlike herself. I think many of us can relate to that. But after discovering EllieMD, Toni began her peptide journey. So she started with the GLP-1 and the GIP. She added in the NAD plus and later incorporated the BPC, the 157, which is the Wolverine stack, and then glutathione for gut and liver detox. And then in just 3 months, her mental and physical health transformed. Her energy returned. So welcome, Toni. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you so much for having me, Laura.
So tell us a little bit about your health struggles that affected your work and daily life, and what made you take the decision to try peptides.
Well, thank you. Well, it all started when I was 41. So at 41, my monthly, it stopped. My menstruation, it stopped. And so I didn't really pay attention to it at that time because I was just happy that happened, right? But because I didn't want any more children. But I'm a like kind of cold natured person, so I don't really get hot. So I guess the hot flashes were kind of welcome. I didn't really, they didn't bother me as much. But as I got 45, I started seeing a decline in my vision, and my bones started aching a little bit. But it was when I hit 51 that my hips, my hips was hurting so bad. It was hard for me to get out of the bed. I didn't have the desire to go to the gym at all, because my mental had totally took a turn. I was just so depressed. I just couldn't put my finger on it. I was like, what is wrong with me? I was feeling like an alien in my own body. I just couldn't figure it out. Like, why am I so emotional? Why, if I stub my toe, I feel like it's the end of the world? Why am I yelling at my husband like this? Why am I doing this and doing that? And so it was kind of disappointing, right? I was disappointed in myself. The last time I went to the gym before I started GLP-1 was with my 18-year-old son, and he's a Buffalo guy. He works out, and I worked out with him, and I always have loved the gym, right? So I thought, it would motivate me to go with him. I felt so ashamed, Laura. I literally went into the massage room and hid out over there. And when I left, I'm telling you, I felt so disgusted with myself. I have never felt so disappointed in myself because I was like, what are you doing? Like, why are you hiding? And so at that point, it just kind of made me really look at what's going on with me. And I'm not a person that likes to run to the doctor a lot because I don't want to be put on all these different type of medications, compartmentalized, a medication for this, a medication for that. So, I just got blessed because I ended up seeing a story on Facebook. And when I saw that story and I saw those before and after pictures, I said, I want that. I don't know what it is. And so needless to say, I got the information, which is one of the things that really attracted me to Ellie, is because it's not that I hadn't heard about the name brands and stuff. Of course I did. I heard all the different rumors and all these different things. So it kind of deterred me from even looking into it. But because Ellie has such a strong educational platform, it really, really helped me to understand what GLPs were, what peptide therapy really means, and how important it is to many women and men that's over 35, right? So when I got the information, I watched the video. I said, okay, they're talking to me. I need to get this ASAP. I got it. And I said, okay, it's a business opportunity as well. Okay, I want to get involved with that. But when I started taking the GLP-1, the very first week, I was like, is this magic? Like, this can't be. Like, it was just incredible. Or like, I mean, my hips, it eased all the way up, right? And it was like, I started feeling good. And then about I lost weight instantly. And then, well, it was probably a lot of inflammation. But then I said, well, I'm hearing a lot about this NAD, so I want to be a part of that too. So I got on the NAD with my GLP-1. Oh my God, that was like heaven. Like, it was the most flexible I've ever been in my life, number one. Number two, it was like, if I'm in there washing dishes, I just hear like songs. It's like playing in my head. I'm like, oh my God, like, where have you been songs? So it was just so great. And then my husband saw all the fun I was having. So he wanted to get involved with the peptide. So now I have to share. I mean, it's the good part that he's getting help as well, but I have to share with him now. So he started taking the NAD. So I kind of gave it to him, and I went ahead and I got on the glutathione. And the glutathione really, really, I could really tell that it was detoxing my liver, like seriously. And, helping me to stay regular. I could tell within my skin, even my eyelashes are growing back. I haven't seen my eyelashes in so long. So that's definitely a plus right there. Well, these are not it, but yeah. But yeah, it's just been wonderful. So then I decided after the BPC 157, the Wolverine stat came out, and I was hearing all the wonderful things, like Cindy said, from Dr. Wagner, who's our buddy. And I was like, oh, I definitely want to do that because that's a good detox. I'm all into detox, right? So I definitely got on that as well. And so then after the NAD kind of wore off, I started feeling like, oh, I missed that energy. So now I'm trying to some more, and I'm like maybe 3 or 4 days in on that, and it definitely okay because my hips. I'm not gonna say it was hurting because it was nothing like before, but I did start feeling a little bit of aching that I had got used to not feeling again. So when I started feeling that a little bit, I'm like, well, let me try this some more. And I can say within 3 days, 100%, I haven't had no hip pain at all, none. I don't have the energy yet. I can't say that, but I definitely don't have a hip pain. So I'm very, very grateful for these. They literally saved my life because, to be honest, guys, I was suicidal. I don't like to say those words. I'm a very strong person. I'm a very intelligent person. And just to even think about it makes me emotional, but it was true, right? So literally, these peptides have saved my life.
Oh, thank you for sharing that. So, what advice would you give to someone who's just looking at the peptides and thinking, you know what, I've got hip pain, or maybe the fatigue, the energy levels? What would be your go-to if you was just starting afresh again, knowing how they worked for you? Which one would be the first one you would choose?
Well, definitely it would be the GLP-1. I did the microdose option because I didn't want to lose weight rapidly. I am pretty small lady. I'm 5'1". So I didn't want to lose weight rapidly, but I did lose 26 pounds in 3 months. So, and it was all what I needed to lose. So I would say definitely the GLP-1 and the NAD if somebody is, having hip pain or, going through menopause. Those two right there are definitely the staple. But I definitely would, I can't really honestly speak on the Samorlin because I just started taking it, but I can say that it did relieve my pain. But I would definitely say the NAD is great. And the GLP-1, definitely do the GLP-1. I think that me personally, I feel like everybody should at least start there, even if it's on a microdose level, just to kind of get themselves together, at least one good round, and then, kind of go from there. But in conjunction with that, use NAD.
Yeah,
As we call it,
absolutely.
stack it.
So if you'd have known about these sooner, would you have definitely have tried them sooner?
Oh my God. I wish that I had known about at least at 45, at least. I think I probably could wing it up until then. But yeah, if I had known, if I would have been educated as I am now, I definitely would not have been suffering the way I was suffering. And that's why I yelled to the rooftop. It's not about money for me. I do like money. I do need money like everyone else, but I definitely know people are suffering in silence, not only women, but men as well. My husband, oh my God, before he started taking the GLP-1, I was like, you gonna have to go to your mama house because I'm not arguing with you. And he was like a woman, like running around here. I was like, what's wrong with you? But as soon as he got on it, it was like a switch. And it's just so amazing. So yeah, I think it really like kind of helped people get back to them old selves.
So with your husband, like, does he notice the change or are you just noticing it in him?
Oh no, he noticed. Well, just put it this way, Laura. Initially, he was like, because he didn't start with me, right? I did it for a month alone because he was afraid of the needle. I ain't gonna say afraid, but he wasn't an advocate for the needle. But now, like the first time, it was like, oh, but now it's like, oh, did you take your shot, or is it our shot day? He's like looking for the shot. So he definitely noticed. He has a lot of energy. He loves the NAD. He said the NAD gave him a lot of energy. But the Wolverine stack actually cured his knee because I told you he drive our 18-wheeler and he jumped out of the truck into a mud pile and he hurt his knee pretty bad. I mean, he was like limping really bad. And I was like, well, this, we got this BPC in, so we got that in and he took it. And the next day, I'm like, is it feel better? He's like, it's the next day. But then the next day, I saw him walking straight without a limp. I'm like, oh, it must be working, huh? He's like, yeah, I guess it is working. So yesterday when I asked him, he said it literally cured his knee. So yeah, it definitely works. The BPC 157.
Oh, that's incredible. Incredible. So what's going to be next for you? Obviously, you've just started the Sermorelin. Are you going to continue on that? Are you going to go back to the NAD? What are your thoughts around it?
So right now I'm thinking from what I've been learning from Dr. Wagner and just a few videos of some of the leaders here, I'm thinking that I'm going to be on a Sermorelin with the BPC 157 stack, like Dr. Wagner said, taking the Sermorelin in the morning and the BPC 157 at night, and I'll be doing rounds of glutathione and the rounds of the glutathione and of the NAD, because I heard that the NAD you should kind of do those in cycles, so I don't want to do that continuously, but I'm definitely ordering some NAD soon. So yeah, I'm pretty much gonna be on all of them.
I love it. I love it. But I'm so glad it's helped you.
Oh, yeah, it has helped me. And my hair, because my hair was shedding really, really bad. My hair was unruly and everything before I started taking the glutathione. So the glutathione definitely has helped my hair. My nails are super strong. I've never had, these are my real nails making that noise, and I didn't have no nails at all. So yeah, it definitely is a good product for those type of things. And when you have your hair and stuff being healthy and your skin being healthy and you have energy and you have clear thoughts and you're able to, like she said with the NAD, I mean, I was the same way, Miss Forgetful. And then, it was like, oh, I remember. And you actually notice that you're remembering.
Oh, it's amazing. Amazing. Well, thank you so much, Toni, for coming on and sharing your story and your journey. And we wish you all the best as you continue to move forward with it.
Thank you for having me.
So next we are going to bring on Jenn Nelson, aka Jenn Magic, as her friends know her. So Jenn Magic is a midlife wellness coach. She's an entrepreneur. She's a GLP-1 advocate with over 25 years of experience in health and empowerment. She helps women reclaim their energy and confidence using peptides, nervous system support, and intuitive health strategies. After battling Hashimoto's for 14 years, she transformed her health with GLP-1s, losing 41 pounds of inflammation and putting her condition into remission. Now she's on a mission to help others optimize their wellness and break free from outdated diet culture. So welcome, Jenn.
Oh, thank you, Laura. I'm so excited to be here.
We are excited to have you. So firstly, obviously, you're trying a few of the peptides. You're on a GLP-1 plus B12, GLP-1 GIP plus B12, glutathione, NAD plus, and the PT141. So let's start off with the GLP-1s. What made you decide to start those, and how quickly did you notice any changes?
Yeah, so I actually have done the GLP-1, and I have then in September, I switched to the GLP-1 with the GIP, which if you're considering both, like that was a game changer for me because of my Hashimoto's. I think that GLP-1 with the GIP was the extra inflammation that I needed, that to relieve that. And so, yeah, I want to say, when I started with the GLP-1, it was like just slowly titrating. And I was kind of like, as had someone having Hashimoto's, or if you have any kind of autoimmune condition, you try a lot of things. Like I've spent probably $100,000 on supplements and all the things. And so it's like those first couple of months, you're like, okay, is it working? Is it still working? because I had tried things and they would work, but it seemed like it was right around like month 3 or 4, like my body would get smart to it and be like, oh yeah, no, this isn't going to be working. And then I would have a flare up. And I literally, Laura, oh my gosh, I was just like, when it was past, like, I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm on month 5 and I'm feeling better and I'm feeling amazing. And it's month 6 and it's month 7 and then it's month 8. And so it was just like, I was just kind of giddy, but still kind of like, okay, is this real? And then I had my lab work done and my labs were phenomenal. I got off my Zoom call with my practitioner and I was in tears because she said, Jenn, your Hashimoto's is in remission. And I didn't think that was ever going to be an option. I've had my labs done for 14 years and they've never, ever changed. So that was a huge win for me. So yes. Yeah. So I would say a gradual, but yes, right away, like, I still need to get my wedding ring size. I went down a shoe size, all the inflammation that has shifted. And we all know when that inflammation moves out of our body, like we just feel lighter. And, a lot of people say, oh my gosh, I just feel like that vitality return. I feel like I was, I'm 20 years younger again. I have this peace of state of mind, all the things that happen. So it's very fascinating how detrimental the inflammation is in our bodies.
Yes, absolutely. So you're using multiple peptides.
Yes.
So how did you decide which ones to add, which ones to not take anymore? How did you make that decision?
Yeah. So I will microdose the GLP, GIP forever. And I've been microdosing that for probably at least, well, I've done that I've never gone up in my dosage. I'm like steady for over a year now. And so I call the GLP-1 and the Samorlin, which I'm saying that wrong, and the Wolverine stack, the Midlife Magic stack, because that I love together. I'm doing all 3 of those together. The BPC, for anyone that does have an autoimmune issue, is fabulous. I mean, highly recommend it. Cindy spoke about the shoulder. I've had 2 frozen shoulders. My right shoulder I have complete mobility in it. My left one is almost there. So Cindy, as soon as you get that Wolverine stack, inject that. And I guarantee you within an hour, you're going to feel a huge difference. But yeah, I like to rotate. I just like today I wanted to be super sharp. So I did a round of NAD this morning and I was like, wow, I love NAD. Like this is NAD is my best friend. So yeah, I'm all about the stacking and kind of playing with that. Again, I'm into intuitive healing. So I kind of like press into, okay, what do I think I need right now? So that's how I play with them.
Okay, so you are taking PT141 as well. So would you mind telling us a bit about that journey for you?
Yes. Well, I'm 58. And so, yeah, things, I was curious about that. I wouldn't say that has been a huge issue in our marriage, but I was very curious. I'm like, well, if this could get me back to, where I was when I was in my 20s and 30s, well, that would be kind of fun. And it has. Like my husband he loves all of these peptides too. And we do kind of feel like we're giddy teenagers. Yeah, so I love it. I would highly recommend it if you are a menopausal female and that has been a challenge for you, your sex drive, any of that, try it. Like go for it because it is a game changer. And I love that it actually builds up in your system. So it's not just like a one and done. Yeah, we've had a lot of fun with that.
So does your husband take that one as well, or is it just you taking it?
I just take it. No, he's good. That's not a problem. Not a problem. But he does do all the other stacks with me as well. Yes. And he's released like over 23 pounds.
Wow, that's good. That's incredible.
Yeah.
So what about your energy levels? Obviously, we can see you've got a lot of energy. We can see you.
I
your
do.
Hashimoto's,
Yeah, and
what's Hashimoto's anymore to you,
well, yeah. So anyone that does like anything that knows anything about Hashi is like when I first was diagnosed, I probably had about 1 week a month where I didn't feel well, where I was like really laid out, my whole body hurt, I had a really hard time, completely exhausted. As soon as I hit menopause, it was kind of like the dumpster fire that really, really ignited my Hashis. And it was like the last 3 years, it was like 14 pounds, 14 pounds, 14 pounds. And I have a health and wellness background. So I was doing all the things right. Anti-inflammatory diet, still moving my body, all the things, and nothing was working anymore. And in those 3 years, instead of having that 1 week of bad, it was like 3 weeks of bad and 1 week of good. And honestly, not this past Christmas, but the Christmas before, I actually canceled Christmas because I could not get out of bed. So I am like, I am like Wonder Woman now and shouting from the rooftops because I literally have my life back. And that's my husband will say, I have my wife back.
Oh, I love that. I love that. So we've had a question that's come in. How does microdosing work? So obviously, Jen, you're microdosing, which means you don't titrate up because you didn't want it for the weight loss. Essentially,
Correct.
you wanted it for more the health benefits. Can you speak a little bit more on why you made that decision for the microdosing?
Yeah, I was always, I did as I was diving in and doing the experiment on myself again, I didn't want I wasn't looking for rapid fat loss or anything like that. I wanted it to be low and slow because I know that, and this is the thing about peptides, they are so brilliant, is that they know where to go in your body to heal yourself. And so listening, and this is what I love about Ellie, is that we have the power in our hands. Like we have the power to control our dosage. And so I was able to figure out, quote unquote, my sweet spot. And, just gradually I was releasing fat and I was, that was like a bonus, but it was like more of just feeling great in the energy again. So as far as the microdosing, and again, Ellie's the only company that has microdosing as an option. So it's a win-win. So people can just hop on and hop right into that longevity section and go and be amazing. Say yes to you.
So was you ever tempted to try it for the weight management and like titrate up, or was it just always about the longevity for you?
I listen to my body. So honestly, it's my body says no right now, but I'm not going to say in a month from now or 6 months from now, maybe I will go up in my dose. I love, again, Ellie provides so much education, through Honey and Dr. Wagner and all the resources that we have, is that we get to really be our own wellness advocates and really step into that role. And that's very, very empowering when we can choose.
Yeah, absolutely. So talk to me a little bit about glutathione. Now, obviously, Toni mentioned glutathione, that she's introduced it, and she's also on sermorelin. Have you tried the sermorelin?
Oh, I'm on sermorelin. Yes. Yeah, I
Okay,
love it.
perfect.
And the glutathione, I actually did before I was doing peptides and injectables, I was doing a lot of IV drips, and every single one of my IVs would always have glutathione. I love it. Like if I feel like we just did some traveling and I was kind of feeling like I was getting a little bit stuffy, and I traveled with that. So right away it was like I took an injection the next day, I was fine. I didn't get whatever was kind of lurking about in my system was gone. But I love it. And Toni talked a little bit about her hair. I think mine's from the NAD, because if anyone knows, if you have a thyroid or Hashis, like I literally would, when I was washing my hair, like pull out clumps of hair. And my hairstylist, I've had her since I was 16 years old. And she even said, I can't believe how amazing your hair is. And your hair is actually growing for the first time in like 10 years. So there's just so many there's so many amazing benefits that it's just longevity living in its finest.
Oh, absolutely love it. Well, thank you so much for coming on and sharing your story, Jenn.
Well, you were so welcome. Anytime.
So the replay for this call will be available tomorrow. So if you do have someone who's like, oh, I wanted to find out about that, but they missed the call, they can always head over to our YouTube channel, and they can watch the replay on there. We also have previous education stories over on YouTube, and they're also on podcast as well. So if you are interested in learning more about the peptides, hearing medical professionals talk about the peptides, or other customers of ours and brand partners who come on and share their stories, they are all over there for you guys to listen to if you just want to educate yourselves a little bit more. So thank you to our guests, Jenn Nelson, Toni Freeney, and Cindy Crayder. And thank you for sharing your journeys. And we just wish you all the best as you continue you all look amazing. You're all glowing. And it's just incredible to watch. So thank you so much for joining us and sharing your story. Brilliant. Thank you so much, everyone, for tuning in and listening. If we do have any more questions come in, we will get back to you on those. And like I say, the replay will be available tomorrow. So if you just want to listen again, feel free just to tune in and do that. So have a great day, everyone, and take care.